What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday to everybody watching us live. Today, our NFL draft content continues with a top 10 ranking of the best quarterbacks in the 2024 draft. Joining us, he is Ryan Reese. Go give him a follow on X at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. Ready to talk some QBs finally. We waited until the Senior Bowl to commence, and now it's time to finish up our positional rankings. We still have running backs after this, but this is an interesting class, and always is, as the quarterbacks certainly are always going to be at the height of scrutiny.
Yeah, the top three are the top three. I think those are going to be within the first 10 picks. After that, I think it's a total crapshoot, and I've seen people all over the board with some of these guys, big names, as we'll get into. But could the Eagles possibly draft a quarterback this year, Ryan?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, let's
factory number one.
Right, exactly. We are the QB factory. So, no, you know what? Honestly, I think I would be a little shocked because from what I understand, they really do like Tanner McKee. And, I don't think they're necessarily looking to kind of have two young quarterbacks on the roster. I think, somebody like a Mariota that can kind of be the veteran backup while McKee gets kind of, trained up. So I'd be certainly a little shocked if they were to kind of waste a pick on a QB.
Yeah, me too. We have Peter now saying, let's get this party started. Ironically, like, how many did Tanner McKee play at all during the regular season? I don't think he did. No. And you would probably say he was the offensive rookie of the year for the Philadelphia Eagles, which is pretty sad.
Well, honestly, who else would there be? I mean, Jesus. I mean, Steam.
Yeah. So at least Tanner McKee.
Yeah, I would be shocked if behind Jalen Hurts there were two young quarterbacks behind him, and we don't have somebody in here to be a veteran, to be somebody that can, God willing, only have to play a very small amount of times. Wow, thanks. I just saw that. That hurt my feelings. Right.
All right.
Yeah. That one stung a little bit. Thank you. But still, we got to talk about them, and you never know. Crazier things, right? Maybe, maybe they don't love McKee as much as we think, and they go ahead and grab somebody in the mid rounds and try to develop that guy. Who knows?
Maybe. Yep. All right, let's roll into our number one, guys. If you're watching us live, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on all of these dudes. Once we get to like the back end of this top 10 ranking, it's pretty much up in the air. So if there's someone missing, make sure you let us know. Jumping into number one, no surprise, it is Caleb Williams here, out of USC, one of the most highly touted prospects to enter the draft in recent years, man. In 2022, he was the Heisman Trophy winner, viewed as most by a potential franchise savior. The hype around him was Trevor Lawrence level of hype, and then enter 2023. And now there's people out there calling this guy a bust. And that's kind of been the story over the last couple of months. Most of the lows focus on the USC Trojans losing 5 of their final 6 games, which was a bitter end to his college career. But I feel like the majority of the hate, at least me personally, comes from fans who really just watched him play in that back-to-back stretch against Notre Dame and Utah, and really used that to make up their minds. Because outside of those 2 games, he was simply electric. He was carrying USC on his back. I don't think people realize how trash that USC Trojans defense was. And but getting back to Caleb Williams as a prospect, when it comes to strengths, elite arm talent, incredible escapability. He can hit any spot on the field, make throws from various arm angles. He can make off-platform throws whenever it is needed. But what's so impressive about Caleb Williams, whereas you look at some other quarterbacks in the NFL, when they escape out of the pocket, they're looking to run. When Caleb Williams escapes out of the pocket, his eyes are always down the field, looking to make the big play. His deep ball is truly jaw-dropping. He's an unrivaled scrambler, and I truly mean unrivaled. So you look at some negatives. Much of that is nitpicking, in my opinion, but he needs to play less hero ball. He got sacked 45 times in 2023 when under pressure and when blitzed. There is a ton of tape on this dude holding onto the ball for far too long. He has to trust his first read better, and he has to look over the middle of the field more. But his ability to play out of structure is as elite as it gets. He needs to improve at taking what is there rather than extending plays over and over and hoping to make the hero play, which might be his downfall. But for me, Caleb Williams is by far the number one pick in this draft. It is a lock. Any thoughts on Caleb Williams, Ryan?
Yeah, listen, he struggled as I guess as a team, so it certainly seemed that that fell onto him. And yeah, listen, it wasn't the way he wanted his college career to end. But yeah, honestly, when you look at him, you just look at you don't look at anything else. You look at his mechanics, you look at his vision, you look at everything else. This guy can make all the throws, and he's an intelligent player out there, as you said, always kind of looking downfield. But yeah, you're right. He needs to rein it in a little bit, play a little smarter as far as throwing it away or checking it down or what have you. But that comes with experience and age, and he's going to certainly get that. Obviously, there's the big debate right now on whether or not he truly will go number one to the Bears, or whether the Bears will trade away, Justin Fields for him, or what. But either way, I think when he comes into the NFL, he'll have an opportunity to kind of hone in those skills and really show his ability and why he deserves to be number one.
Absolutely agree. Let's roll on to number two. No surprise. Again, Drake May out of UNC.
Yeah, listen, if it wasn't for Caleb Williams, the whole world would be talking about Drake May as the number one pick. He's clearly the number two guy here. He absolutely is an athletic playmaker, has quickness, speed, certainly that dual threat ability as a scrambler, or whether it's designed to run. Great arm strength, and absolutely just delivers throws with kind of like again, I'm not trying to compare, but kind of like a Brett Favre kind of velocity. He just seems to whip it in there. So certainly demonstrates just amazing poise in the pocket, and when under pressure. So this guy is like I said, the 1B to Caleb Williams here. I will say something that you have to consider is his offensive line was pretty bad, and he was still able to kind of be impressive, with when he needed to run, when he needed to stay in the pocket. Just kind of a tall, athletic, quick, but powerful, strong-armed quarterback. He's somebody that maybe needs to make the decision to scramble, needs to make that a little bit quicker. I feel like a lot of his downfall is that decision whether to run or to stay in the pocket to throw it. Kind of got him in trouble a little bit over the last year or so. He could be a little bit quicker in his progressions, but at times, as you said, I feel like all these kind of things are a little nitpicky in a way, but as they say, everybody's got, nobody's a perfect quarterback. And certainly he has some room to improve. But yeah, I think inconsistency maybe in his footwork is another one. But either way, Drake May is honestly just a great passer. Can make all the throws. Can absolutely be a threat to run. But he's accurate. He's got a strong arm, whips it in there, and honestly, I'm kind of a little bit more excited to kind of see what he can do in the pros, depending on whether or not what team he can get to. So
Yeah, definitely could be a problem with the Washington Commanders if that goes down. I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
He's a great prospect. I think that's 1 and 2. And then we get to number 3, and I think this is a guy that you could maybe make an argument that could be number 2 or number 3, at least in my opinion. Jaden Daniels out of LSU. What a season, man. What a 2023 by Jaden Daniels. Just Lamar Jackson-esque in the sense that on every snap, when he gets to the next level, man, he's always going to be one of the best athletes on the field. He's not an elite burner, but he's a plus athlete with amazing elusiveness, especially when in the open field. When he's in the pocket, he's at his best going down the field. He makes beautiful and accurate deep balls with an effortless release, man. His arm is awesome. And unlike a lot of like dual threat QBs, like I think Jaden Daniels is really calm in the pocket. I think he does a really nice job of sliding away from the pressure, stepping up in the pocket and delivering the throw. He's a great one to watch on tape, man. And when you get to weaknesses, he's got to do a better job of protecting himself as a runner. There were far too many times last year when he kind of put himself at risk. That can't happen in the NFL, obviously, as we know as Eagles fans. I think he struggles with his accuracy when it comes within 15 yards and in. The majority of his misses in this was from him not finishing throws, some mechanical things, but that's definitely going to be correctable with NFL coaching. He also needs to be more consistent when it comes to going through his progressions. There were times when he kind of locked it onto his first read for too long, and that led to him missing open receivers down the field or in the vicinity. And then circling back the strengths, man, I think it's very clear, this guy would thrive in a scheme just like the one they use in Baltimore under Todd Monken. Something pistol shotgun heavy with a good dose of RPOs and quick reads and utilizing him as a runner. Man, this guy has crazy upside. I think he's 99.9% a lock to be in the top 5 of this draft. And that's Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, listen, you always kind of forget when you kind of, look at these things that, man, there's a ton of teams that are going to want to be trading up. And I think Jaden Daniels is definitely a target. Obviously the Chicago Bears, we need to figure out what they're doing with their quarterback situation. But, there are so many teams that could jump up and grab a guy. And Daniels I think is going to be one of the hotter names of teams that are going to go up and try to grab him, get in that top 5, as you said, or right at 5 somewhere, and try and grab him. Because he is absolutely elite, athletically. Certainly could use a little bit more of a pure, kind of work on his passing, but again, it's kind of just a gripe at this point.
So Jaden Daniels ran a 4.5 40-yard dash while he was with Arizona State. That was his last recorded 40-yard dash. If we remember, Anthony Richardson blew the combine apart with his 4.3 40-yard dash. So he's not that 4.43 40-yard dash from Anthony Richardson. So he's not that far behind Anthony Richardson. That's how crazy of an athlete this guy is. His stock is just going to continue to go up.
Listen, you win the Heisman. That certainly helps, right?
Yep. All right, rolling on to number 4. This is where it gets real debatable. This is where people are in, they're out, they're watching tape and calling this guy amazing, and I don't see it, or vice versa. So here's where it gets interesting. But number 4, we're going with Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. Ryan.
Yeah, listen, I am all in on this guy. I personally think he's a guy that could fight for the number 3 spot. That's how much I absolutely love Michael Penix Jr. This dude, I just see a complete and utter leader out there. Somebody who has his hand in every part of that offense, and he knows exactly what's going on. He has such a nice, strong arm. His throw is just, it seems like he's not even trying out there. He just kind of whips it, and he could throw the deep ball with zero effort. It certainly can make all levels of passes with ease. But he honestly shows a really nice kind of accuracy and touch with some of those deep balls. I mean, him and Ramadunze were such a duo this year. It was so much fun to watch. And yeah, if I, again, I think he's probably going to be more of a mid first round guy. I've certainly seen him in the second round as well, but I think this is a guy that somebody's going to trade up for and pull the trigger on. He absolutely shows the intelligence of knowing what the defense is doing, able to kind of dissect, the play before the snap. Routinely, is able to take advantage of mismatches out on the field. And he also has a pocket mobility that, is, he's not going to run a 4.3, but, he's kind of shifty out there. But still able to maintain his focus down the field. I will say, obviously, potentially some of his decision making, does need to get a little bit more consistent. It seems like every once in a while he kind of just gets out of his head and makes a bad throw. But again, outside of those kind of accuracy lapses, whatnot. Obviously his injury history is going to be a factor. When he was, he's had what, 2 or 3 ACL tears, certainly raises some concerns for NFL teams. And that's certainly going to be something that holds him back. But honestly, I think he's able to kind of rise above that. He's 24 already. So, it's certainly, that's another thing that's going to kind of go against him. But man, you just look at him, and I just see a great quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I cannot. He's the quarterback that I am most excited about seeing where he goes, how he develops, and what he does throughout his NFL career.
He has an amazing likable factor. I don't know if you can even put that into a scouting report.
Right?
I straight up root for this guy. He's the guy on the sideline that's crying his eyes out. You can tell like this guy is all about football and just he's all in. Like there were times last year, even when he played bad, he didn't play up to his level of expectations. And Washington wins. They win. He's got a towel over his head, walking into the sideline, walking into the locker room, a mess, an emotional mess.
I mean, listen, on the national stage, he put everything he had out there, and you saw that. And he was hurt, but he wasn't coming out of that game, and he almost willed them to a comeback, and just it's such a gutty performance. And like I said, the leadership factor that he brings to the table, I think. I think those intangibles are what's going to really make him special in the next level.
Yeah, again, you nailed it with the injury history and his age. Some people would like that. Those are big knocks. That
sure, absolutely.
But like you said, the intangibles, This guy's a winner. He's 20. He was 25-3 the last 2 years at Washington. Crazy. And his only loss in 2023 was a Pac-12 team and probably the best Pac-12 conference ever. So just an amazing season. True. I love Penix Jr. It'll be interesting to see how the draft falls for him. Again, I could not be more excited for that guy, man. That was a historic season. Rolling on to our next one here. It is Bo Nix, number 5. Here's where the positives maybe go downhill. Bo Nix, 6'2", 213 pounds. One of the most polarizing prospects in this class. Let's talk about strengths. It's got to be his accuracy. He can place the ball wherever he needs it, especially in that short to intermediate range. There's a guy in an Oregon offense that got the ball out fast. His average release time was 2.5 seconds last season. For comparison purposes, the Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence was at 2.51 seconds last season. So this guy was very much aided from a Oregon Duck offense that got the ball out fast, and that led to him only being sacked 10 times the last 2 seasons combined. He's able to process mentally quickly. He's able to get the ball out fast. He's got a pretty decent ability to throw on the run, especially when scrambling out of the pocket, and he can make the first defender miss if he needs to. The weaknesses come out when you're talking about arm strength. He's not elite when it comes to arm strength in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't have like high velocity that you see from everyday starters in the NFL. That might develop over time. And then I got to say that, but his resume against good competition is also not the best. He was 6-5 against top 25 teams the last 2 years. And when you talk about scheme fit, I think his strengths are in, in an offense that kind of like Shanahan, like get the ball out fast, make pinpoint throws with a lot of play action, rollouts, things like that. I'm not high on Bo Nix, and I do think that a lot of the areas he struggles with, and we talk about going through his progressions, and we talk about playing in a different type of offense. I think he could do all of those things. We just didn't see a lot of it. It's also important to note that he didn't have the best Senior Bowl, so his draft stock is a bit down. People see this guy as a first-round pick. I don't. I'll be honest. I see him as a day 2 guy. There's on our channel. There's a lot of fans of Bo Nix calling him the next Drew Brees. I'm just not there yet. I still need to see more. But that's Bo Nix. Love him or hate him.
Well, I'm with you. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on this guy, honestly. And to compare him to Drew Brees is wild to me. Is a wild accusation. Listen, I don't see it, and I think you said it perfectly. Those the weaknesses of Bo Nix, I feel like are only gonna get exacerbated in the next level. Mm-hmm. The slow running through his progressions, the accuracy. Sometimes he has accuracy issues, but. Again, I don't see it. I don't see that it factor. I don't see those intangible factors that kind of can make up for certain things or not. But yeah, I think he's going to be a day 2 guy. Somebody's going to take a chance on him, but honestly, I don't see it. I really don't.
Let's roll into another polarizing prospect. And that guy is number 6, Michigan's J.J. McCarthy. Holy cow. People will think he's like the number 3 or 4 quarterback in this class. I also don't see it. No. What's your take on J.J. McCarthy?
Listen, he's in the Bo Nix category for me. Again, he's a guy. He wins. He obviously is a national champion. He stepped up when he needed to. He has a strong pocket presence, especially in those high pressure situations. I mean, he's in the Big Ten. constant, matchups, high pressure games, whether it's the Buckeyes or whether it was in the playoffs. He did his job. I'll give him that. But I just don't see when you project him into the NFL, where he kind of fits, and him being, a starter. But listen, he absolutely has a decent accuracy, able to kind of fit balls into really tight spaces. He certainly did that a few times in the Ohio State game. And again, it was Michigan kind of had a very run heavy offense, so he didn't really need to do a lot. So again, maybe that's his kind of the best thing you can kind of say is he wasn't asked to do much, so we didn't see a lot. So maybe, again, moving on to the NFL, he'll be able to showcase some of these talents that just, he wasn't really able to kind of show on a consistent basis. But yeah, listen, I will give him credit. He's a winner, and that's an intangible that is, hard to come by. I think he does have a good frame, good size for the NFL. He seems to have an intelligence out there of knowing the situation, understanding the moment, and delivering. Again, an intangible that cannot just be taught. So, I will say, again, while he does kind of have a strong arm, he does kind of sometimes force the ball in, forcing kind of his receivers to adjust, to maybe make plays that otherwise could have been, good yard after catch potential. Doesn't really have a great deep ball. Doesn't really have that touch or that kind of ability to air it out, get some air under that ball. He just kind of, just chucks it. Doesn't seem to have the accuracy there. But yeah, listen, I think McCarthy will probably end up being a day two guy. Certainly has a lot to improve on. And, I think he'll probably end up going to a team that doesn't need him to be the guy right away and can develop. And who knows, maybe, a year or two of development in the NFL, he could certainly showcase some of the skills that, maybe he didn't get to show so much at Michigan. So that's, I think, might be the hope for JJ McCarthy.
Agreed. All right. Yeah, he shows flashes of being able to like make unbelievable passes down the middle of the field, like amazing timing, like hitting windows before they even reveal themselves.
Yes. Agreed.
Then there are like lapses where like he throws like he totally misses the coverage and throws an intercept a ball right.
He'll like overthrow it. It goes right to a deep safety. Yeah, it's very frustrating, the inconsistencies in this game for sure. But you're right. That's a great way of putting it. He shows flashes of being a really good quarterback. Sign Al Bundy. I'll do it. 4 touchdowns, poke high, baby.
God, talk about a show that would never exist today.
Oh my God.
I love Married with Children, man.
It would be canceled in the first 10 minutes.
Like, and that's the different times, right? I watched that show with my parents.
Yeah, same.
You know what I mean? Like I was young. Like you can't.
Yeah. Nope.
Like that makes Family Guy look juvenile. That show is next level. We also have Daniel in the house. What's up, Daniel?
Well, what's up, Daniel?
All right, let's roll on to. I think we're at number 7. I'm glad I got this guy because I think he's underrated. He is Michael Pratt, out of Tulane, 6'3", 220 pounds, elite level instincts and football IQ. Man, this guy has really good situational awareness. He's a very good decision maker with the ball. He's got the ability to process the field, anticipate windows, find those mismatches, manipulate defenders with his eyes. Inside the pocket, man, he's a really fun watch. He can make split second decisions and really intriguing if he's in the right system at the next level. Physically, he checks all the boxes. 6'3". He looks like an NFL quarterback. He's not an elite athlete by any means, but don't make the mistake saying he's not a runner. Like he can run RPOs at a pretty high level, I think. He's definitely a threat as a runner. And I think he has the athleticism to kind of create plays out of structure and move the chains. When you get to negatives, uh, I, he, I think it's his ceiling. I don't think he's got the ceiling of an elite level quarterback. Again, he might be a system quarterback. I think his athleticism is sufficient, but not game breaking in the way that more modern NFL offenses quarterbacks are at this point in time. As we see the Shanahan, McVay kind of offenses really take center stage here. But then again, Brock Purdy is dominating there with the 49ers. So who am I to say? So again, Pratt doesn't really have that elite physical tool set you're looking for in some of the top quarterbacks, but his football IQ, his upside are both very intriguing. He's got elite competitive toughness. He's got very good arm movement to work off platform. He's kind of a piece of clay you can mold with some really nice tools, and he's got really good mechanics. He's disciplined, very good accuracy, very good situational ball placement. So again, in that like Shanahan style where he can be a timing and rhythm passer, he's got really high upside. I've got a day 2 grade on Michael Pratt. Yeah, I think he's a good one that I think a lot of NFL teams will like a lot.
Yeah, I think I kind of have him right around the end of like round 3.
Okay.
I think somebody will definitely take a chance on him. Yeah, I think he shows that he has a certain skill set, and yeah, listen, maybe the Brock Purdy's of the world are showing that you get the right guy in the right system,
Yeah.
things can work. So as much as I hate to give Brock Purdy any credit,
Yeah.
he's doing a good job in San Francisco for sure.
Yeah, that Niners, Rams, Lions offense is kind of like taking the NFL by storm. And I think this guy is exactly that. I think he can avoid mistakes. He's a good, he can read the defense. He can make quick throws with accuracy and move the ball downfield if he has to.
Yeah.
Like he does he checks a lot of boxes. He's just not an elite athlete like a Jaden Daniels or Drake May or Caleb Williams. All right, let's roll on to another guy who I think is climbing up the draft board, had a phenomenal Senior Bowl week. It is Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina, Brian.
Yeah, listen, this guy I call the wild card in the quarterback rankings here. This guy was highly touted coming into college. In fact, I feel like he's been in college for forever. He played with Jalen Hurts in Oklahoma before he finally settled into South Carolina. And listen, this is a guy that not only has experience. As I said, he's been in the college game for a while, but he certainly has dealt with some adversity, some challenges throughout his college career, and kind of like Jalen Hurts in a way. He certainly has excellent arm strength. Can make all the throws that he needs, and that's again part of the reason why he was so highly recruited coming into college. He's great on the move. He has absolute good vision and arm strength when on the move, and honestly able to make throws that I think a normal quarterback wouldn't even attempt. Despite the fact that, he may be kind of labeled more of a mobile, scrambling quarterback, he has some real skills as a pocket passer. Seems to have a good feel for the pressure and when to kind of move on. But yeah, I think he's pretty accurate overall. especially on intermediate throws in the middle. Seems to read the defense as well and kind of find those pockets and anticipates, very well for what the defense is giving him. So, yeah, listen, he's a very good athlete, able to, has the quickness and speed to run, but also the arm strength, the arm accuracy, the talent, and again the awareness to kind of stay in that pocket and zip it around the field. So, yeah, listen, he's not he's kind of more of a smaller quarterback. I think he's 6'1", about 210, 215. Um, seems to doesn't have the best foot mechanics, seems to throw off the back foot and kind of maybe relies more on the arm strength rather than the setting his feet. And he's gone through some mechanical changes over his college career. So that certainly is something that NFL teams are curious about. He certainly needs a little refinement and kind of some of his deep throws with a little bit more touch. But yeah, honestly, I think this is a guy that at one point was, that guy. The guy coming out of high school into college was the recruit, 5-star, and he's certainly tumbled along the way over the last few years. But I think with the fact of the matter is he's been through adversity. He understands his role. He had, like you said, a great Senior Bowl. I thought his stock rose up quite a bit. And honestly, I'm just kind of rooting for the kid. So yeah, I think he'll probably end up being um, maybe early day 3 is kind of where I could see it. But honestly, I think this could be one of those things where he kind of comes in and showcases, hey, there's a reason why he was so highly touted. He has athleticism and he has talent. He
Yeah,
just kind of needs to put it all together and be consistent with it. And again, that certainly could be something that an NFL team gets his hands on him and molds him and turns him into a decent starter in this league. I think he still has that ability.
I agree. I fully agree. Let's go into another guy, and this is where it kind of gets iffy. Like your number 9 could be different than my number 9, and that's totally fine. But we're going with upside here and tools. He is Joe Milton, 6'5", 242 pounds. Tennessee's offense makes this evaluation kind of hard, as we talked about with a previous quarterback, I think a year or two ago. But Hendon Hooker, I believe his name was.
Yep.
But Tennessee's offense kind of, just like Oregon's, kind of makes it difficult. But when it comes to talent, when it comes to physical measurables and profile, like, oh my God. I mean, 6'5", maybe the strongest arm in this class. He can just whip it down the field, man. This guy is probably going to run a pretty good 40-yard dash. You could see him dominate the upcoming NFL scouting combine. He has great long speed. And I could see him, like, if he puts together a solid NFL combine with making throws downfield, this guy could be just like Anthony Richardson, the talk of the combine. But then you get to areas to improve upon. Like, this guy is a see it, throw it, touchdown to check down passer. Tennessee's offense got the ball out of his hands fast. But when it comes to accuracy, he really struggles, especially deep. He only completed 28.6% of his passes of 20-plus air yards. His touch on vertical throws is a big concern despite the arm strength. And his ability to layer those throws is a bigger concern. So for me, Joe Milton has got a lot of tools. He's not a starter right now. He needs to survive as a backup in the NFL. It's going to take a couple of years for him to develop, but he's got real upside, and he needs a lot of refinement But because of those raw elements of his game, I think he's going to be a day 3 pick. I think a team will roll the dice on this guy, and that's Joe Milton.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Somebody absolutely will take a flyer on this guy, and for a lot of reasons. You said it. He has such talent, and it's a shame that he's not able to kind of put it together. And it's one of those things where you look at him, you're like, how is this not working? Like, and everything looks the part. He can make some throws sometimes that you're just like, wow, that is already NFL level. And yeah, unfortunately, just maybe just doesn't read the defenses as well as he certainly should. But scouting combine is going to be his best friend, and he's going to go in there, and he is absolutely going to rise to stock. And somebody's definitely going to take a chance on this guy. And yeah, he may sit for a few years, but hopefully he gets his chance. Honestly, because if he can put it together, and he's athletic, and he certainly has some good skills.
Absolutely. And then we get to number 10. I don't know if you're good with talking about Carter Bradley, but I think he was one of the big winners
Yeah.
of the 2024 Senior Bowl. Do you want to take it?
Yeah. No, I'm good. Yeah, listen, this is a guy that I don't think a lot of people knew before the Senior Bowl, to be perfectly honest. He literally is from right there, quarterback for South Alabama. So that's right where the Senior Bowl is in Mobile. He was 4-star recruit coming out of high school. So certainly, had offers. Originally went to Toledo, and eventually transferred to South Alabama as a fifth-year senior. Had a pretty successful year at South Alabama, throwing for almost 3,000 yards, for 64% passing. And he honestly he looked the part. He's certainly not the quickest guy or the most athletic guy, but he kind of makes up for it, in other ways, in sneaky ways. He certainly is able to kind of take off and run when needed, and it's kind of a sneaky quickness about him. You look at his straight line speed; it may not be anything to write home about, but he's able to be sneaky and get away from defenders. So I will say, in these again small sample size, he seems very confident in his abilities. He shows good accuracy, and honestly, when he's kind of in that mindset, he's going to make all the throws. He kind of gets into this rhythm and shows that he has the arm talent, he has the accuracy. I will say that sometimes he does put a little bit too much air under his throws, and rather than kind of utilizing some of his arm talent, he kind of just tries to throw it up there. But seems to understand defenses, able to read defenses rather well, understands kind of what the defense gives him and how he needs to counteract that. But again, physically, I think he just kind of has a natural athleticism. Again, nothing that's going to jump off the page, but you can definitely see that he's got some arm talent. He has the confidence. Seems to be a decent leader on the field, and players certainly love playing for him. So I will say he certainly needs to improve that touch, that accuracy, especially on deep balls, but kind of on all levels. Accuracy certainly could be something he improves on, but other than maybe some consistency and decision making, I think this is a guy that may or may not get drafted. Honestly, certainly needs a lot of work, but I think he was able to show the world what he was capable of at the Senior Bowl, and this is exactly the reason why we have these events. Is you get a chance to look at a guy that otherwise you probably wouldn't have even known his name, and now people are looking at him. So again, if he can kind of have a consistent you combine and kind of show that he's able to make some throws, you never know. Somebody might make a flyer on him, and you never know. We could be talking about him as kind of the next Brock Purdy.
Yep. All right. Yeah, when we get to like the back five here, that's where this class really took a hit with
Yeah.
a lot of the big names like Quinn Ewers and Shador Sanders and Cam Ward, who I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Will Howard. You could go on and on about guys that decided to return for their 2024 season.
Yeah.
The depth of this class took a shot for sure. But that wraps it up, Ryan. We only have one more position to cover, which is running back. And I was working on that list today, and that's going to be.
I'm gonna guarantee you we have a completely different top five.
I think we're going to do that show like that. I think because we have been doing these rankings with a 1 through 10. I think I'm going to have my top 10 versus Ryan's top 10.
Yeah, we can do that.
Compare contrast, because my ranking, I think, is so different than consensus, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that'll be really fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll do that, and then we got to figure out what's next for us. Maybe we've been doing this for so long.
I know.
Yeah, what do we do? Maybe a mock draft is in our future.
That sounds fun. We could do like a first round mock or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those links to all those positional rankings are in that description below. So if you have a favorite position you want to know about more, it's right below. Go check it out. Ryan, let's wrap this thing up before my daughter kicks my ass. She's like, it's nice outside. She wants to get out.
Yeah, listen, I won't hold it up anymore. Please make sure that you go to the YouTube page, Edge of Philly Sports, or the website. Find out all you can about all these prospects. This man over here did so much work. I'm telling you. Hats off to him and the job that he's done throughout this offseason, this draft season. So do that. Otherwise, stay tuned to the channel. I got shows Mondays, Tuesdays, whenever they need me. So check us out, Edge of Philly Sports, and make sure you dive in with Dibes.
Thanks,
Oh,
man.
that should be a name of a show. Dive in with Dibes.
Listen, I am capped out. There's no more shows coming from this guy. I'm done. But anyway, yeah, I've got 7 scouting reports dropping this weekend, 5 linebackers, 2 edge rushers, and on top of that, I'm going to try and start pumping out some top 10s as well. More top 10s. And then I think we should do a first round mock after our running back class. That sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe we don't do it live. Maybe because we have so many graphics and Senior Bowl highlights and all these kind of things. Maybe we can not do it live and put together more production into that show. I don't know. See.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Stay tuned, folks. Don't worry. We'll figure it out for you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're only 2 weeks away from the combine, so
can't wait to start talking about that.
We'll have a lot to talk about there for sure. We have Ryan in the house. What's up, Ryan?
All right.
The other Ryan.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Go check out Ryan Reese on X at Philly Sports PSA. Go check out Philly Sports Alliance wherever you check your podcasts, Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about passing defense, linebackers, not edge rushers. Hey man, this is Howie Roseman we're talking about. You cannot put edge rusher on the shelf. It is definitely a conversation.
Yeah. It's got to be a consideration. Unfortunately, there's not a defensive position that I honestly wouldn't necessarily be upset them taking. Even if they went D tackle, I'd be like,
it's
not the most important thing, but would I hate it? Nah, I probably wouldn't. We need help on defense, so anywhere we can get it, let's do it.
Yep. There's some free Eagles free agency shorts on the channel. Go check those out that we've been putting together. But yeah, we'll be back on Monday night for Party on Broad, probably talking more draft, Eagles free agents, and Sixers reactions to the trade deadline. And then Birds of the Round Table on Tuesdays. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. One more time for Ryan at Philly Sports PSA. I am Dobbs, Mr. Crockpot. For Ryan, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.